All right, so we're going to use the zero product principle. So remember, we want it to equal 0 because the zero product principle says that if you're multiplying different factors and it equals 0, you can assume each factor equals 0. So it has to equal 0. So we're going to minus 6 on both sides. N squared plus 3n minus 18 equals 0. Now I can factor a times c, negative 18, factors of negative 18 that add to 3, and so we can go through them. So it's going to be positive 6 and negative 3. So we're going to break up that 3n into the factors. So 3n is the minus 3n plus 6n. Factor by grouping, factor out an n. Factor out 6. And so you're going to get n plus 6 and n minus 3 equals 0. So therefore, you can set each factor equal to 0, which is the zero product principle. And so you're going to get n equals negative 6 and n equals 3. On the next one, I can subtract 6 because we want it to equal 0. Now there's a 6 in common, so I can divide everything by 6. So you get n squared minus 3n minus 4 equals 0. A times c, so negative 4. Factors of negative 4 that add to negative 3. That's going to be 1 and negative 4. So I can break it up. So plus 1n minus 4n minus 4 equals 0. Factor by grouping. There's an n in common. And then there's a minus 4, so factor out the minus 4. Now remember, when you factor it out, it's as if you're dividing everything by it. So that cancels out and becomes n. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is positive 1. And so those are the same. And so you're going to get n equals negative 1 and n equals 4 because you have to set each equal to 0. Now it doesn't matter how crazy or silly it looks. Remember, we just want it to equal 0 first. So in this instance, I have to add the 5k squared to both sides. And then add the 3. So then you're going to get k squared minus 8k. That cancels out. Equals 0. Now there's no a times c because it's not a trinomial. But there is a k in common. So I can factor out the k. And so I can set each equal to 0. And so you get k equals 0 and k equals 8. It says determine if the equation represents y as a function of x. So remember, we want to get y by itself, and we need to check to see if there's a plus or minus. No plus or minus, so yes, this is a function. If I divide both sides by x cubed to get y by itself, there's no plus or minus, so then yes, this is a function. Now in this one, if I subtract the x squared, when I do this square root, I get this plus or minus, so therefore no, it's not a function, because one x value that I pick will map to a positive and negative version for the y. So the difference quotient, remember when we plug them in, so f of x plus h in this instance is going to be the square root of 2 blank minus 3. We're plugging in the x plus h in for the blank. So that's 2x plus 2h minus 3. So then it's f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. And then the hint here is you multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate. And that's going to get rid of the square roots on the top. So you're going to multiply that out, you're going to multiply that through, and then you're going to start seeing things cancel out. So to be completed.